Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Then check out Deal to Heal Teas. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something to inspire you. That's dealtohealteas.com. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.com. Again, that's dealtohealteas.com. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Ernest James, and I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast on all of your podcast listening platforms, as well as check us out on our new YouTube channel, which is the Deal to Heal Podcasting Network. If you go to Deal to Heal Podcasting Network on YouTube, you'll get the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, as well as our sister podcast, which is the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. Both of those podcasts are there on the Deal to Heal Podcasting Network on YouTube. Make sure you guys go and check us out there. There's also several other podcasts that is also available that you guys can check out on our YouTube channel. Also, as you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, and the way that we stay on the air is by bringing you amazing products for you to purchase in order to help us out. So our product of the week is our purpose journal, as well as our purpose planner, because I believe we are to journal in order to keep track of where we've been and where we are in our lives, as well as plan for our future. So our purpose journal and our purpose planner both are available on Amazon. The links will be in the description below. Also, there's other great information in the description of this podcast. So make sure you guys go there and check that out. So today, just like any other day, we are blessed with the guest, and I don't even want to try to pronounce your name because I don't want to mess it up again. So do me a favor, introduce yourself to my audience and let us know who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Thank you, Ernest. Very grateful to be on this podcast. I am Brahmarishi Abhijit, and I'm a yogi. I am a life design and transformation mentor. So what I do, basically today you are seeing in the world, there's a lot of ups and downs that are happening. People are battling job insecurity, career insecurity. But you know what's the fundamental problem? The fundamental problem is we as a society have been conditioned to work hard, hustle, and grind to be able to make a living. Whereas what I help you do is flip the game and create your reality inside out by first finding your purpose. Why do I exist? Why am I and what am I born to do? What is the highest service that I can deliver in the world? Right now, these questions sound very simple, but there is a systematic framework that we use which can help you before getting into all the nitty gritties, before jumping into the grinding and hustling mode. You get to know the answers beforehand. What is it that universe wants you to show up as? How can you deliver the highest impact and create a big change in the world so that money, income, all this become a natural byproduct, but essentially you are living your joy. But what is it that stops people from living their dream is past trauma, traumatic conditioning, condition to obey, condition to fulfill all the impositions and suppositions of the society, but never realizing themselves. So, what I help you do is come in alignment with your highest truth, your inner self, your higher self, and live your divine purpose from that space so that you are of service to the world and you get to live your dream life. So, in a nutshell, that is what I do. This involves a lot of things like helping you heal your traumas, helping you bring your chakras and energy body back in alignment, helping you realize your spiritual truth so that what you are and how you live becomes very, very authentic.
I love it. I love it, and I can't wait to jump into this conversation. But really quick, before we do that, one thing that I know is that you are a girl dad, and so whenever I have a girl dad on, I always ask them two questions: What does it mean for you to be a girl dad? And then what is something that your daughter has taught you?
Right. So to be a girl dad is to be that first male companion. You are the one who is setting the standard of what they will accept and what they will not accept. So, for example, if as a girl dad, you are not treating your little lady nicely, that's what they'll start expecting from the world, and they'll take you know uh, less than good behavior.
Hmm.
I'm just making an example.
Yeah.
Or if you teach them how to respect themselves, how to accept, only the best treatment from others and treat them and reciprocally treat others well. Well, all these impressions and how to be in the world and how to around males, they are learning from you. So that is one aspect. Second, dads being a girl dad is somebody who is helping them see the other side of the gender, incorporate the strengths that a male has into their female bodies so that they live well-rounded balanced lives. And what is the biggest benefit of being a girl dad? Well, I learn to live every day from her. The level at which she enjoys her life, I learn from her every day. Hey, how to thrive in every moment, how to look at every challenge from a lens of curiosity and adventure and go, wow, I get to do this today. So that high vibrational, excited, bubbly living, yeah, she teaches me a lot every day.
I love it. I love it. Man, to my audience, make sure you guys go and check out the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. Probably by the time that you're watching this episode, we probably been already recorded the Girl Dad Discussions episode as well. So when you go to the YouTube channel and you watch the Deal to Heal with E James podcast, make sure you also flip over and then also watch our interview when we talk about the girl dad discussions, because that's going to be interesting as well. All right, so let's jump back into your story, and what I want to know is I'm loving the mission that you have, but I always know that there's a story before the story. So what was your um life beforehand that made you say, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life? Was there a major transition that you had that you kind of made it through and said, okay, now that I've made it through this, now I'm gonna teach others how to do
Yeah, definitely. So that's a great question. See, the thing is, The early part of my life, being a student, then getting into jobs and early career, about 20-ish years of corporate career, I realized that, I had been sold a dream when I was a student.
Mhm.
Hey, get a student loan, become an engineer. I became an
Yeah.
engineer, did my bachelor's, then get a bigger student loan, go do masters. All right, I did that. Now, to pay off the student loan, you get into a job. So I got into a corporate job. Now when you're in the corporate job, hey, get a mortgage, buy a house, and now you're stuck in a system for next 30 to 40 years. And while I was in the system, I realized, I'm not living my purpose. This
Mhm.
is not what really excites me. In fact, it was working the other way around, because I was acutely aware of this vulnerability, that the entire house of cards that I've built, which is my, home, car, even children's school fees, is all dependent on one thing, which is my corporate salary. And now I have to bend over backwards to make sure that this keeps running, despite of how
Mhm.
I'm feeling through the day, how I'm, what's my experience of working in the industry. So don't get me wrong. I mean, I had a very successful career, international career, working with multinational companies, even Fortune 500 companies, helping them build multi-million dollar product lines through design thinking, which I now use to help people create their and design their dream lives. But what I was seeing was that the whole equation was out of balance. Work schedule was like 50, 60 hours a week, international travels or interstate travels, being out there all the time, never getting time to spend, a quality time with my family. Now, this pressure was keeping me in very unhealthy habits, like excessive drinking, not being careful about what I eat, not having an exercise schedule. In fact, this whole thing was causing me intense burnouts, chronic stress, chronic anxiety. In fact, this whole state, as it prolonged, I also went into chronic depression. And I was like, is this what life is? And if in my late 30s, early 40s, I'm feeling like this, do I have to drag this whole cycle for another 20, 25 years before I can retire? And is there any such thing as retirement anymore?
Yeah.
So that made me question the whole reality, the way I understood it. And this deep questioning and self inquiry caused a spiritual awakening in me in August 2017, where there was a moment where I realized me at the core of who I am. My existence does not depend on me having a body, does not even depend on this world existing. I had tapped into the transcendental consciousness called as the Brahman, which is infinite, eternal, which is the source of life itself. Later on, I realized this experience is what is called as enlightenment. But the main thing is, when I was in that 15, 20 minutes of experience where I was totally transcendental, infinite, expansive, at that time there was no pain, no suffering, no fear. Life was just bliss. My existence, my experience of existing was just pure bliss.
Mhm.
15, 20 minutes later, when that experience ended and I came back to my normal senses, again the heaviness, the stress, the anxiety, the whole blues of, oh god, tomorrow again, the whole cycle begins, the grind begins, that came back. But this time something was different. This time I realized that there is something within us which transcends all this. So if I'm limitless at my core, why am I living a limited reality which has been heaped upon me, which is full of suffering, and how can I heal out of it? So this state that I had tapped into, the source consciousness itself, started working inside out, started helping me shed the unwanted baggage that I had taken on as if it was my own. Then began a very intense healing journey, where I started healing myself at all levels: mind, emotions, body, energy, everything. And slowly my performance started changing at my work. My perspective started becoming clearer and clearer, and I started discovering that strength within, using which I completely transformed my reality, from being dependent on a paycheck to now helping people break free and break through into living their dream realities, just like I have done for myself. So, this is what my mission is, to help you realize that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. But that creator mode has been buried under all the programming and conditioning, especially the disempowering programming and conditioning that we go through as a part of growing up in this world. So when we get to shed that, that's when you realize, hey, I'm way more powerful than what the world has projected on me. I have all the power to make the right choices and create my dream reality, to everything to my specification. So, how to do this systematically? I developed this into what is today called as the Golden Ascension Framework, which has been helping people heal out of impossible circumstances. So, somebody is on anti anxiety, antidepressant medication. After working with the framework, 3 months later, their psychiatrist told him, "You don't need me anymore. I don't know what you're doing, but you are not battling stress or anxiety anymore." Or somebody stuck in toxic grind, and after a few months they go, hey, there is a complete new possibility open and available for me, and they transform their careers. Or people transforming their family dynamics. Somebody So there's a girl who came to me, was 17-year-old, victim of narcissistic abuse from her parents for her known life, and battling intense anxiety and panic attacks. But after again working with the framework for 3 months, she was like, I'm free of panic and anxiety attacks. I can control and regulate my thoughts and emotions at will. So, this is the kind of empowerment that comes when we come in contact with the source of life, which is right within us. So, that is why I took on this mission, that the biggest healer is right within you. It's just a matter of you turning inward and recognizing that infinite aspect of who you are.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. And I want to go back to something that you said because before you started doing this work, you were quote unquote successful, right? And you had this great career and everything. And I think that's the side of success that is not often talked about, because everybody's like, I want to be successful. I want the house and the cars and all that. And then, but we don't always hear people that say, yeah, I had all of it and I wasn't happy. So is that really success? You know what I mean? But it's because I think our most successful self is what you're teaching us right now, is coming into in contact with our inner self and really knowing, finding out our purpose and what it is that makes us as an individual actually happy and enjoy and feel fulfilled. And so I like that you said that you got the degrees and you got the house and you got the job, all those and recognition and all of that, but those wasn't the things that made you feel fulfilled and wasn't the things that made you feel happy. I want to go a little bit more into, you talked about the spiritual awakening, and I want to go a little bit more into that, if you can, just because I don't think it's a term or it's a space that's often talked about, right? And I'm definitely interested in learning a little bit more of that process that you went through, and then even how you would say me if I was to, become one of your clients in your framework, to kind of help me to understand and be able to see what that awakening would be for me.
Brilliant, great question. So let me give you an analogy to help you understand what spiritual awakening would feel like.
Mhm.
Of course, there are many layers to spiritual awakening, but let's just start at the beginning, right? So, have you seen a lion in a circus?
Mhm.
Maybe on TV, maybe you have visited a circus. You see, how a lion jumps through the loop of fire and
Yeah.
does all kinds of tricks. Why? Because just there is a trainer standing there with a whip. He cracks the whip, hey, jump, and the lion jumps. But in this circumstance, is the lion really living as the lion? Or the lion's going, this is what I am conditioned to do.
Mhm.
What is the lion getting in return? Just a meal delivered to his cage. That's all that the lion has. But if you really see, a lion in the jungle is not dependent on anybody delivering any meal to him, right? He has the innate ability to go and acquire its meal without having to bow in front of anybody, without having to jump anybody else's hoops. So if you see in the circus, The lion is heavily conditioned through fear as a cub. Hey, you are supposed to do what we are going to ask you. Okay, we say jump, you jump. If you don't, there are consequences.
Mhm.
This fear conditioning, once installed in the cub, now the cub grows up. Even though the size has changed, the strength has changed, everything about that cub has now changed. That fear is still there. It is because of that that a puny trainer, compared to the size of the and ferocity of the lion, is able to dictate the lion to do all kinds of crazy things, becoming like behaving like a monkey on the commands of this trainer.
Mhm.
But in that moment, does the lion need to really change and become something else to know that it's a lion, or it's just a simple realization? If that click happens in the lion's mind, hey, I'm not scared of you, I'm a lion. Now, is the lion gonna have to jump through the hoops, or just one roar and or one
Yeah.
move and nobody can dictate terms with the lion? This is what is spiritual awakening. One profound click in you. Hey, I'm not what the world has projected on me to be, right? That's when you discover your sovereignty. Now, this realization initially just happens as a click, a realization in the mind, like an epiphany. Ah, so this is the truth of my existence. But slowly it gets embodied totally. And when this embodiment happens, you will see the patterns of fear, the patterns of guilt, patterns of depression, anxiety, worry, they lose their control over you. So, spiritual awakening is coming back to that space within you where patterns of the mind, the limitations of mind, limitations of body, limitations of emotions, they completely lose their control over you. And because of this, you realize, hey, I can sit in a space of bliss whenever I want. I don't need an external substance to feel good within myself. Your happiness stops depending on the external world, and you become blissful, joyful just by being in your own nature. What this does is, if you see, people age today in an accelerated way. Why? Because they are buried under the weight of anxiety, depression, chronic stress, and whatnot. But when you start living in this blissful state, naturally you start aging reverse. So there is something called as the cellular age. When we detected this cellular age, for me it's growing backwards because every cell in my body is just experiencing bliss. This is the power of spiritual awakening, where you start jumping through the hoops imposed by external reality, and you consciously, by your empowered choice, you start creating reality the way you want it to be.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that because it is it's like you tap into something that's is already there. It's like a hidden treasure. You know what I mean? Like it's already there. You just have to discover it for yourself. One of the things you mentioned about is when you go through your spiritual awakening, it allows you then to begin to be able to heal from the emotional trauma and the mental stress that you've been under. How much of a part, uh, or should I say, how important is it to really for us to really be able to tap into that emotional health to get to especially in our healing journey from our to be able to heal from our traumas, to heal from the emotional baggage that we may carry from past relationships and things of that nature. How important is our emotional healing is to connecting with that spiritual awakening? Like once we have that spiritual awakening, how important is that for us to get that emotional healing as well, and that emotional and mental reorganization, should I say, as well?
Brilliant question. So the thing is, you don't have to emotionally heal first to get spiritual awakening. Your emotional healing will come as a natural outcome of your spiritual awakening, because when that perspective shift happens within you, you will start seeing your emotions in the right light, you will start seeing your thoughts in the right light. But having said this, Why is emotional healing absolutely essential? Because just like if there is a marathon runner and they have got a broken leg, if the leg is not healed, can they run to their highest efficiency? No. Similarly, emotions are an integral part of human existence. But if you are wounded emotionally, that impacts every thought and every decision that you are making. And if because of the previous wounds you are making disempowered choices today, they are impacting your future. So, to live a good life, you absolutely need to heal that trauma of the past. In fact, not only trauma, disempowering conditioning of the past, disempowering behavior patterns of the past,
Mhm.
they are exactly what are blocking you living an absolutely amazing present, but they are also blocking you from creating your desired future. Somebody has had, say, a bad relationship 5 or 10 years ago, and now from through the lens of that trauma, when they are meeting somebody new, and that's how they are going to take their decisions and responding to whatever is coming, they are messing up this present moment, the present possibility of a new situation. Or if they get into a new situation and then trauma emerges, the same toxic behavior patterns or whatever caused breakup in a previous relationship, it's very likely that will repeat. So instead of, say, jumping from one situation to other, if we just take a break in the middle and go, hey, let me not repeat the trauma of the past or conditioning of the past, let me come back in my power, so that when I'm sitting in that space of clarity, now all areas of my life, be it your career, be it finances and money, be it relationship, be it health, everything, you start seeing it from a clear lens, not a lens that is tainted by trauma. And that's how you start making empowered choices. So, spiritual awakening will naturally lead to emotional healing. That is a part of the process. But why is this absolutely important? So that you make empowered choices which create a beautiful future instead of repeating the trauma of the past and continue to go down in a negative spiral of experience of life.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. One of the things that I've been doing this year, right? So last year I started hiking for the first time, right? So I started hiking and I realized I really enjoyed it. And so I kind of had this thought like, okay, what if I enjoyed every part of my life just as much as I'm enjoying this experience, right? And so I kind of decided that I'm started living this new mantra, which is living the life I love, right? And so I really kind of like focused on each area of my life, whether it's work, religion, family, fitness, everything that's important to me, and say what adjustments do I need to make so that I love this experience in this area just as much as I love the hiking. And so I kind of been going through that this year, really just focusing on whatever I'm doing, making sure that it's like, all right, making sure that I love this experience, whatever it is, to bring me happiness in the moment. And so when you're talking about being able to design, should I say, the life that we live as we're going through this not emotional, spiritual awakening, and we have the emotional reset, should I say. Talk to us about, that experience of really like looking at your life and saying, okay, what do I want my life to look like? And then start kind of putting that design together to make it be what it is that you want it to be.
Absolutely. So, see, we are not just, so the way we have been conditioned is, hey, you are an engineer, you are a doctor, right? But we are not just these titles or labels, right? You can
Mhm.
fit anything. Say, I'm a YouTuber, I'm an author, I'm a public speaker, whatever. These are just titles. But can these titles totally encompass the totality of us? No, right? We are multi-dimensional beings, meaning we have got physical needs, we've got emotional needs, we've got psychological needs. We have a need to, align with our purpose so that we thrive, we find meaning in what we do. And most importantly, we are conscious sentient beings, right? But the old system, the way conditioning has been going on is, hey, you are from this such and such industry, go find an occupation there, start making money, and now work on getting a house, get a mortgage. That's a trap.
Yeah.
So what happens in this is there are five levels. I'm sorry. So there are five levels of needs, right? As per Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So John Abraham Maslow was a psychiatrist who did a lot of work and research in this space. So these five levels are your physiological needs, food, water, shelter, safety. Your psychological needs, having predictability in how my reality is going to be, what kind of work do I do, who am I, how am I showing out there. Then emotional needs, then comes your prestige and esteem needs, and then comes self realization, self actualization. Now, the problem is most people spend their entire lives just figuring out how to put together the lowest two rungs, physiological needs and psychological needs, meaning your house, your insurance, your car, how neighbors are seeing you, and all of this, right? But what in all this cycle, the hamster wheel, what gets completely neglected is your deeper self. And that's why most of the people, they never learn to realize from their highest value potential, what is that best version that I can show up as and deliver the highest value. But here's the thing, once you start operating from that highest value, your net worth will shoot up, the amount of abundance that you can get to you will shoot up, and everything else falls in place very easily. So if you look at people like, say, Ed Sheeran, who's an artist, right? Steve
Mhm.
Jobs, who was an innovator, or anybody who has made it big, what is the difference between them and everybody else? They have tapped into and are working from a space of self actualization. They are putting out their soul's work out there, which is why their work is so different that the entire world is mesmerized. Wow, you have created something that nobody else has done before, right? So Steve Jobs came with iPhone. He had a dream. I want to create a computer that can fit in people's pockets. Nobody had even thought about that before, right? And did you know that Steve Jobs was a very deep meditator? His favorite book is not some technology book. His favorite book is Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, who was talking about enlightenment. So the point that I'm making is this, right? To be able to create your desired reality, you need to know yourself. Who is it that is creating my desired reality? If you are operating as that version of you who is heavily conditioned by society, you are being sold all kinds of things, right? Get that university degree, or get that $1 million mansion, or get that swanky sports car. And you are going and fulfilling those desires, and now buried under the pressure of somehow keeping it together, paying a heavy monthly mortgage, heavy car repayment, heavy car maintenance, and all those kind of things. But is this something that is truly aligned with you? Is this something that will give you utmost joy and happiness? Or is it just pretentious fulfillment where, yeah, everybody sees how great I am, but I'm dying inside, feeling empty, just killing myself somehow to put it together. So what are your thoughts? What are your decisions? Are they coming from the right space? Is entirely dependent on where you are sitting within yourself. Are you fully aligned with you? Do you know yourself? Or are you just jumping on the tunes of societal narratives? Unless we come and sit back in the right place within ourselves, we are not really aligned with our own needs, wants, and desires. When we align with our own true, authentic needs, wants, and desires, when we discover that strength, what is that highest value that I can deliver in the world? What is that deep impact that I really want to make in the world so that I can transform other people's lives based on my own experience? When you come in that space, now the choices become obvious. Hey, this is the most empowered choice that I can make, which will create that domino effect, which will take me in the upward spiral of life instead of me jumping through the hoops of society, killing myself in keeping that pretentious facade together.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So if we're on this journey, just to start in the meantime where we are, what could you give us? maybe three questions that we probably could ask ourselves just to kind of begin to figure out who we are as individuals, because I know you mentioned, like who am I, what are, I'm guessing, like what are the things that I enjoy, like if you can give us three questions or two, if at least, just to start like on this journey, to start it, like, okay, let me start by asking myself this question.
Right. So, what this really needs us to do is to start questioning your own thoughts. Okay. So, our minds are constantly bombarded by thoughts. We measure it in thoughts per second. So, our mind is constantly toggling between past, present, future. Anything you encounter in your present moment, your mind has to dip into the past to make sense of it. Okay. If you don't have a past memory of it, you encounter something really new, you cannot make sense of it. You'll go, I've never seen this before. What is this? Right? So every thought has some basis in the past. But unless we learn to disentangle ourselves from the past, essentially we will recreate what we have experienced in the past. This is what is a loop, right? I come across something, a past trauma or a memory gets triggered, and I project the same thing that happened at that time into my future, and thus I repeat the cycle. So unless we learn to detach ourselves from our own thoughts and emotions, we are on that treadmill of the mind. Treadmill is not outside, treadmill is right there in you, where your mind is creating it. So asking questions, just sitting in stillness, being here and now, and asking this question, hey, whatever my thought is presenting to me, why do I believe this is true? What is the origin of this belief? Where is this thought coming from? Starting to ask questions about your own beliefs, because beliefs go deep. Everybody that you have encountered, be it your school teacher or be it a religious teacher or be it a corporate boss or even the ads or news, everybody is trying to make you believe something. So everything that you know and believe is coming from the outside. But what is your truth? What is your true understanding based on your own experience of life?
Mhm.
So, awakening starts by questioning the narratives. Why do I believe this to be true? When we start holding our belief with ourselves and not give it away so easily, oh, he said this and he said this in a very convincing way, that's good enough for me to give my belief to that person, that's a trap. Just, okay, yeah, you said this. I don't need to agree with you. I don't need to disagree with you. Let me just stay open without believing anything. Let me just stay open, stay in the space of, I'm open to listening, I'm open to observation, but I'm not going to be quick to conclude. That's what takes you away from the conditioning. Hey, you got to believe this, you got to believe this, you got to believe this. So every decision that you are taking is coming from some belief that has been fed to you by somebody else. That means you have given your power away to them. So, spiritual awakening is about bringing all your power back into you. What do I mean by power? See, choice is power. If you look
Mhm.
at somebody in the world who is like a very powerful person, what do they have that you don't? Choices, right? But do you need to become a president of a country or prime minister of a country to be able to have choices? No, you have ability to make choices right now. But why are most people not making those choices is because they have given their power away to beliefs and narratives. So when you learn to stay present, come back to yourself here now in this moment. See, enlightenment is not something that will happen years later or you have to go to Himalayas for that to happen. No, it's here now. Am I making a conscious choice or am I just following whatever my thoughts and emotions are presenting to me? To give you an example, suppose, so I was battling with alcoholism for a long time. I've had
Mhm.
a stressful day and suddenly an urge comes, I need a drink. Now if I just follow that urge, I'm not exercising my power of choice. That belief, that feel has all power over me. When I say I need a drink, I need to go and get a drink. That's the addictive behavior, total powerlessness. Whereas when you go, hey, why do I have to believe this feeling that's showing up in me? Why do I have to follow and obey the thought that is showing up in me? That's where you start taking your power away. And gradually, like a muscle, you build your will. And that will is what should drive your life. Nothing else, not thoughts, not emotions, your conscious will. What do I want to really create as a choice in my life? So this is what brings your power slowly back to yourself. Obviously, there are lots of techniques, there are lots of methods that I can share. We do this in our free community a lot, so that you don't fall for the trap of the mind. But yeah, in a nutshell, you can start this way, just by questioning every thought, every belief that's popping up in you, and by taking your power back from it.
I love it. I love it. That is so interesting, and so capable. Like it's not even like something that we're not capable of doing. Like if we're able to sit down and really focus on it, yeah, I know we'll definitely be able to do it. I know also that you are an author, right? And so you have a book that's also available on Amazon that we're definitely going to make sure we put the link in the descriptions as well. So tell us a little bit about the book and what is it that you want the listener or the reader, should I say, to get out of, once they finish your book.
Excellent question. Thank you. So my book is called The Quantum Wealth Code. See, we have been conditioned to see wealth out there, outside of us. So I need to have a company that's making such and such number of millions of dollars, or I need to be in a job that's paying me 6 or 7 figure salaries, or I need to be a real estate investor or whatever stock investor to be
Mhm.
able to create wealth. See, this is the old world programming. If you are seeing right now out there, this programming is crumbling, is crumbling, right? This old system narrative. Have you seen the stock market and the volatility lately? Have you seen the housing inaffordability lately, or inflation lately? How unpredictable it has become to, for companies to just, do the business in the times of these trade wars and everything. So if your wealth is based outside of you, then you are very vulnerable, especially when big transitions like these are happening, what we are seeing in the world, especially
Mhm.
disruption coming because of AI, or global economic order being shaken, or new technologies coming and disrupting the playing field of the business. This is the loser's way. This is what keeps you on the hamster wheel. Okay. But as I said, the real wealth, the real treasure lies within you. When you discover that quantum space and be of service from that space, that is a wealth that nobody else can take from you. When you start operating from this space, now you are not competing with AI. AI works for you. You are not competing with businesses. Business structures start working for you. Why? Because what you are propagating, what you are offering, is not only your personal ambition. Now universe starts supporting you, because you are a blessing and an impact for so many other people to be able to heal themselves, rediscover the core truth of who they are, and live a joyful, blissful, healed life. So then universal forces start helping you in your mission. This is the real wealth. How would your life be if God became your coach and mentor? This is what happens when you come in contact with the source, with the divinity right within you. This is the true wealth. So now somebody might go, hey, should I not work? Should I not, look for making more money? See, the thing is, coming in spiritual alignment has got nothing to do with any kind of scarcity. You have to live without money or this or that. Not at all. The problem is people confuse cause for effect. See, people think money is the cause that will create an abundant life for themselves. It's the other way around. The cause for abundance is right within. Money is the effect that naturally comes when you are living from that empowered space of self actualization. Because, say, today the world, the marketplace is so crowded. Everybody is posting on social media, everybody starting a new business, or, all so much competition. So, how will money come to you? When you stand out, when you're offering something that nobody else is, When you're offering something or operating from a space that nobody else is, automatically you transcend competition and you stand out, and people come looking for you. Hey, wow, I've never seen somebody else offer what you're offering. That's how you automatically attract abundance, right? So, how do you differentiate? By elevating your level of consciousness so that what you are saying, the way you are showing up, what you're offering, there's nobody else in the field who is doing that. That's how you naturally unlock abundance without having to hustle and grind or work 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, or going crazy in terms of doing, I don't know, dances on TikToks to get some attention. Attention will naturally come to you simply because of the energy that you are propagating of healing, abundance, joy, prosperity, because that is who you have become as a function of shedding all the incorrect and disempowering programming.
I love it. I love it. One more thing before we get out of here. You have a workshop, a free workshop, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of walks people through it. Tell us a little bit about the workshop itself. I definitely, again, will make sure that we have all this information in the description for our listeners to definitely be able to take advantage of it. But tell us a little bit about the workshop as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, see, as I said, the world is changing rapidly. Experts are
Mhm.
saying in the next couple of years, the world would have changed so much that it would be equivalent of the world changing from the year 2000 to 2025. We would have we would have seen transformation worth 25 years just happening in the next couple of years. Why? AI-led disruption, fourth industrial revolution technologies like blockchain, which are already making shockwaves, robotics, everything is coming in. At the same time, the global political order is changing and global economic order is changing. Lots of upheavals are happening. And in
Mhm.
this, what is happening is people are worried. Hey, what will happen to my job? What will happen to my career? Am I going to get displaced by AI? What's going to happen to my business? Am I going to get affected by trade wars? All this kind of career related uncertainty, job related uncertainty, income related uncertainty, all those things are happening. Whereas, people have also heard about spiritual awakening and self realization and balancing your energy body and activating your divine energy body. And they think this is all woo woo. So, the Thrive Beyond Chaos workshop is about really experientially bringing you in realization of the divinity that you are, the conscious, intelligent, cosmic energy that you are, that has this body, that has this personality, that has all the thoughts and emotions. Now, as I said, when you sit in that empowered space, not only you can completely regulate every aspect of your being, be it your thoughts, be it your emotions, completely overcome stress, anxiety, depression, PTSD, however old it has been, however persistent it has been. But from that space of empowered choices, you get to see, hey, how to transcend this big change and ride the wave instead of getting squashed by it, instead of coming under it. How do you ride this wave? See, whenever the world is sitting on a cusp of such a big change, those
Mhm.
who learn to ride this wave, they create phenomenal abundance, unseen abundance. So I'm sure you would know, like in year 1999, year 2000, when the dot-com boom came, those who learned to ride that wave, they really made millions. They really scaled the heights, whereas there were industries who could not catch up and they became obsolete. This is that time, and this time the change is multidimensional, multi-level, and much more intense.
Mhm.
So I want to help people get that early adopters advantage by becoming really radically aware of what are the multi-level changes happening, how we can position ourselves to be able to ride this wave and win this whole transformation, so that we are of service to others and help others catch up. So that is what is the fundamental of Thrive Beyond the Chaos workshop. And most importantly, it is absolutely free and open for anybody and everybody across the world.
All right. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much again to the listeners. The information definitely will be in the description, so you guys can go right below this video, or if you're listening to it on your podcast uh, device, go right up under it. Also, you'll be able to get that. I want to thank you for being on. I want to thank you for definitely for sharing your information and your expertise. I want you to have the last word. So I want you to leave us with a word of advice, inspiration, however you feel, and also with your social media and your website and things of that nature, where we can find you in order to work with you. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about that. To my listeners, thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Make sure you guys are checking us out on our website, the dealhealfulfill.org website, which is our official website. Also, my new website, which I don't have an image for, but my new website, which is Ernest James Speaks Life. That is my speakers workshop in order to find out more about me and how you can have me to come out to be a speaker or to facilitate a workshop at your school or organization. Make sure that you guys go there and check that out. Again, that's Ernest James speakslife.com, as well as our dealhealfulfill.org website. Make sure you guys are checking us out there as well. Also, check us out at ebooksbyejames.com to look at some of the ebooks that we have available that I've written, including the Core Four, which we talk about on the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, which is the core four values that every daughter should get from her father. There's also a Males to Men ebook, and one of my favorites that I've written is Forgiving Me, the 4-Step Guide to Self Forgiveness. Make sure you guys go to ebooksbyejames.com in order to check out all our ebooks that we have available. Also, our podcast merch is available at deal2healtees.com. That's deal, the number 2, healtees.com. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tee and be inspired all day. That is our tagline. Make sure you guys go there to check us out. And last but not least, over the last couple of years, I've been blessed to be a part of an organization called the Forgiveness Mission. And what we do, we have free virtual workshops bi-monthly talking about everything surrounding forgiveness, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, even forgiveness of the real. So you guys can sign up for our next virtual workshop by going to forgivenessmission.com, or you can even go to Eventbrite and look up Forgiveness Workshop, sponsored by the Forgiveness Mission. Again, these workshops are virtual. They're absolutely free. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, either one's just ended or one is coming up. So you can go to forgivenessmission.com in order to sign up for our free virtual workshop on forgiveness. The workshop is absolutely free, but the information is priceless. So I definitely would love for you guys to take part in those workshops. So, Brown, I'll call you Brown for short. Thank you so very much again for being on and for sharing your expertise. We're definitely going to make sure we have all your information in the descriptions. But I want you to have the last word, so the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure and a joy to be here and talking with you, EJ. Um, so, the one question that I really want to leave your audience with is, why are you tolerating being a victim of circumstances? Instead, the power is hiding right within you to become a creator and master of your reality. If you want to learn how to do this, and if you want to come in contact with me and my offerings, I have a website called realitysimplified.com. Also, the free workshop that I spoke about, so it's realitysimplified.com/thrive. And you are more than welcome to join our free Conscious Creators community on Facebook. You can look it up as @conscious you. So it was, as I said, an absolute pleasure and a joy talking with you, EJ. And keep up the good work. Absolute fan of what you're doing out there to help people heal.
Thank you so very much. We can't end it no better than that. Thank you, my listeners, for once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, where our mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. To deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Remember to listen, like, subscribe, and share. This episode has been brought to you by Deal to Heal Teas. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Remember, our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for listening.